Congratulations, everybody. You've made it to week 4 of Beach Bracelets, Quilt into Spring Sew Along. We've battled snow. We've battled all kinds of crazy weather these past now 4 weeks. And I think it's finally spring. I have seen the birds and they are chirping and having a great time. My grass is green and my flowers are blooming, and it's time to complete our quilt. I just want to let you know right off the bat, you're going to need a tape measure because this is what we're going to be doing. We've got 3 borders to sew on, so you're going to need your tape measure. So go ahead and grab that before you even get started. We are so thrilled that you have been a part of this, and we have totally enjoyed hearing from you at the store. We have enjoyed the feedback. I've enjoyed getting questions and being able to answer them for you. It's just been something that we've never attempted before. And because of that, we appreciate your support. And who knows what the future brings. But at this point, we're just glad to stay connected with everyone and thrilled that you guys are here with us. And you're here in spirit. We do care for you very much. So we are getting started, you guys. It's borders. We have 3 borders to put on now. But before we get started, we are looking at the 2-inch strips that you cut. Those are going to be your first border and your third border. So before we go too far, before we put the borders on, you're going to be sewing those 2-inch strips short ends together. You're going to sew all of those 2-inch strips together. So go ahead and do that. And then when you've got those sewn together, you are going to be pressing them all to one side. Then once that's done, you're going to be laying out your quilt top, and you are going to be measuring the center, from the top to the bottom, to determine the length of 2 of your 2-inch strips. Once you've determined that length, my length was 61 inches because of my scant 1/4 inch that I've been sewing, so that I have these points, as you can see behind me in the Beach Bracelets quilt. It's important to keep those points. We've talked about that before. Once that's been determined, your length, you're going to cut 2 strips that length. And then you're going to be sewing them on either side of your quilt. So you'll be sewing those on. Before you sew them on, you're going to pin them. Take your time and recall that when you're pinning, you're going to pin at either end and the center, and then you'll pin the rest of the way for each time that you pin. I do have pictures of that below so that you can see exactly. I know many of you already know what you're doing with your borders, but I just want to make it clear so that there's no confusion. Both of those strips have to be the same length. So if there's any questions about that, you can let me know, but it's really important to keep all of our borders, our sashing, everything needed to be the same size. So you're going to be sewing on those 2 side borders, the 2-inch. Then once those are on, you're going to be measuring, again, across your quilt to get your width. And then you're going to be cutting those 2-inch strips, the top and the bottom for your inner border. You're going to be cutting those, and you're going to be sewing those on. You can kind of see behind me. I'm trying to adjust that so you can see it just a little bit. Yep. So you can see that first border there, that you're going to be sewing that one on at the top and at the bottom. And once you've cut that to the length or the width that you need it to be, mine was 51.5 inches. Yours may or may not be that same based on your 1/4 inch or scant 1/4 inch. Then you'll be sewing those on and also pressing out towards the border. So keep that in mind as you're moving forward, pressing out always towards the border. We're not going to be pressing it at all, okay? Now, Again, I did do my scant 1/4 inch for this entire border segment, except for my third border. When I put that one on, I did a 1/4 inch. It's important that we do that, because once you start that with your scant 1/4 inch, you need to be able to continue on with that when you're putting on your border segments, which is what we're going to be doing next. So now you're going to be assembling your pieced border strips. So those are going to be a different amount. The first one that you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing 8 border segments that you're going to be putting together. I'm going to try to lift this up a little bit. It'll be on your side. If I can move this over so you can see. I don't know if I can. I'm trying to. Anyway, you can see the border segments above me, but the ones on your side, you're going to be assembling 8 border segments. Before you do that, what I would recommend you do is lay those out so that you can get an idea of how they look together around your quilt and see what you like. So you're going to be doing 8 border segments on either side of your quilt. You'll be sewing those together, and I chose to do a scant 1/4 inch, and they fit beautifully. I'm so thrilled. They fit beautifully on the side. So you'll be doing two 8 segments, sewing those together, and it's said to sew them one side or the other, or excuse me, to iron them to one side or the other once you've sewn them together. And I chose, because I already had them ironed open, I continued to iron my seams open for that border segment, for both of them, for the sides. And then I laid them very carefully onto my quilt and pinned them. Just take your time, just like we have done before. Take your time. Then you're going to be ironing again. You'll set your seam, and then you're going to iron that out and you'll iron that out towards your border. All right, and then the same thing's going to happen. Now you're going to measure. See, measure. You're going to be measuring again. Listen, you got to use the measuring tape. If you don't have one of these, ladies, we got to talk, but I'm sure you do. Anyway, so that's our friend today, is our measuring tape. So now what you're going to do is you're going to measure again. You're going to measure the width of your quilt, and then you're going to be selecting 7 border segments for the top of your quilt and the bottom. You'll have 2 of those. You're going to sew those segments together, again, ironing open your seams, and then laying that down on your quilt on top of your 2-inch strip there. And then you're going to be pinning those on. Once they're pinned on, you're going to sew them. Again, sewing, you're going to be making sure that you sew them from the block side, from the segment side, so you can make sure that all those seams are open the way they should be, so everything lays nice and flat. Then from there, you are going to iron again out towards your border. I'm trying to pop that up again so you can see. There you go. And then you're going to measure again. So measure, measure, measure. This is important. So then you're going to be measuring again. You're going to measure top to bottom so that you can get that 2-inch strip set, so you know the length that you need for that. You're going to cut that the correct length for those 2 sides for your third border. If I can do that for your third border there, I think I can get it. Yep, on the side. There you go. And then you're going to be cutting those the correct length. Then you're going to be pinning those on either side. Then you're going to be pinning. Then you're going to be sewing, and then you're going to be ironing those out towards the border. And then again, you're going to lay your quilt out again. You're going to be measuring the width. And then you are going to, once you've got that number, you are going to be cutting 2 more strips for your top. And you're going to have your border at the top. You'll be putting that on just as you have put on your side border. You're now going to put that third border at the top and the bottom. Again, you're going to be pinning, and then you're going to be sewing and then ironing toward the border. And you're done. It is really fun. It's been a great time doing this quilt. I hope you guys have had a good time. I am getting ready to, there's a couple options that you have once you have your quilt top done. Some of you enjoy quilting, and I think that's fabulous. Because of the size of this quilt, I am choosing to have our quilter at Quilts Plus do it for us. Her name is Deloa Jones, and she's fabulous. She's published, and she just does a really beautiful job. So what I did is I made sure, number one, that I got my backing fabric, which I need a total of 4 yards for my quilt, or it can be 2 yards of the 108 wide. So I grabbed those. Now you can call the store. We can get that for you. I know that I'm just going to grab a Kona white for the back of mine just because it's pretty quick to do. There are some really pretty colors of 108s. I've been in the store, and I'm actually there now recording this, but there are some really beautiful 108 wides in here, and I know that Kathy and Steve can help you out with that, and we can even do some FaceTiming so you can see the choices if you want to grab your backing. We are also going to be doing a drop-off, so if you say, hey, you know what, I want my beach bracelets quilted, or maybe you have another quilt that you want to have quilted, we are going to do a drop-off. And what I've done is I have a picture of the form that you need to fill out to make it really, really simple for you. So that's going to be included in this week 4, so you can print that off if you'd like to, then you can fill it out and then set up a time with the store here, the 269-383-1790, and you can drop off your quilt. We provide batting. I mean, the batting will be provided, and then you can take care of that when you pick up your quilt. If there's one select one that you do want, we can certainly accommodate that. You can let us know as well. But usually I usually pick one of the either the cotton or the poly that's a little bit thinner, just because it really shows the quilting, and it's just lovely. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing with my quilt. I'm excited to see it quilted. It's going to be hanging in the store here pretty soon. So once we're up and running again, you'll be able to see it in the store. So I'm going to get my quilt off to the quilter so I get to get it back soon. Now there are other things that we can do for you. We do have some machine quilting classes that are available that Deloa Jones actually does teach. And we also have another staff member that teaches machine quilting as well, and it's usually on a Saturday. So once we're up and running again, if you say, you know what, Julie, I want to quilt my own quilt, that's just fine. We've got just the staff to help you with that. We'd be happy to help you with that. Well, we have had a blast with you, and I have enjoyed having you here. If you've got questions, you can direct message me on Facebook. You can also email the quiltspluskzoo@hotmail.com. I'm happy to get back with you. If there's any confusion at all, we don't like that. So we're happy to help you with that. You guys have an excellent week. Again, thanks so much, and I will make sure that I have any information that you need. You can just, again, you can contact me directly. You can call Steve and Kathy at the store, and we're happy to help. You guys have an excellent week. We'll see you when we reopen. We're so excited. Take care.